Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joyofbaking.com. Today we're going to make a lemon blueberry bread. This bread has lots of fresh blueberries and grated lemon zest, and when we pull the bread from the oven, we're going to brush it with a hot lemon glaze, which adds a nice lemon flavor, plus will keep the bread wonderfully moist. So to begin, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius, and you will need a loaf pan, and you can either lightly butter it, or I'm just going to spray it with a non-stick spray. Just the sides and the bottom. And then, if you have an electric stand mixer like I have here, use the paddle attachment, or you could just as easily use an electric hand mixer. The first thing we need is a half a cup, 113 grams of butter. Have that at room temperature, and I prefer using unsalted butter because I like the flavor better, but you could use salted. Now, if you use salted, I would leave out the salt in the recipe. So just put that in, and I'm just going to beat this for about a minute or so, just to soften the butter until it's creamy. Okay. Just scrape the sides. Next, add 3/4 of a cup, which is 150 grams of granulated white sugar. And then I'm going to beat on medium-high speed until the butter and sugar are nice and light and fluffy. That'll take maybe 2-3 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, it's just a nice, get some air in there, mix them well together. So scrape down your sides and the bottom. Okay, and next we're going to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and try to use the pure, not the imitation. The pure is a much nicer flavor. And then we're going to add 2 large eggs. Now have those at room temperature. And I'm going to add one at a time. So I'm going to beat the first one in and then add the second. Okay. Now, if your batter looks a little curdled, as you can see, mine is, don't worry. There's a lot of moisture here, so, but once we add the dry ingredients, that will smooth right out. Okay, so now for our dry ingredients. In a separate bowl, I have 1½ cups, which is 195 grams of all-purpose flour. You may know that as plain flour. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I like to use the kosher salt. And just gonna whisk that together. You could sift it, but I just find it's just as good just to whisk it. And then I'm going to we need the outer skin called the zest of 1 lemon, and I've just used one of these hand graters. You could use a box grater. Make sure you wash your lemons thoroughly before you grate them. You want to make sure you get all the dirt and everything off. It's best if you can to buy organic lemons. The outer skin is where most of the lemon flavor is. That's why we are using the zest. Okay, mix that in. And then you will need 1 cup, 240 milliliters of fresh blueberries. So the problem always is sometimes the blueberries fall down to the bottom as the bread bakes. One way to help prevent that, sometimes the blueberries are so heavy they just will drop, but just take about a tablespoon of your flour and just toss the blueberries in the flour. And this, you know, I can't guarantee it, but it does seem to help to prevent them from sinking. Sometimes the blueberries are just so heavy they drop anyways, but we can try. Okay, and then you will need 1/2 cup, 120 milliliters of milk. You can use whole milk. I'm using a reduced fat 2% for this. So what I'm going to do is add the flour in 3 additions, alternate that with the milk in 2. So I'm just going to put about 1/3 of the flour mixture in here, and then scrape down the sides of your bowl as you need to. And mix this in on low speed because you don't want that flour coming up in your face. Really smell the lemon flavor. Okay, a little more of the flour. Okay, it's almost mixed in. Scrape off your beater there. And then I'm going to add the blueberries and whatever flour is on the bottom of the bowl. And just use your spatula. And gently fold in. You don't want to break the blueberries and then it'll stain your batter all blue. Although sometimes that can't be helped. Okay, try to get them evenly distributed, the blueberries. And then we'll just pour it into our pan. This is very similar to a pound cake. And then just smooth the top with the back of a spoon, or you can use an offset spatula. Okay, so into the oven. It takes anywhere, depending on your oven, somewhere between, say, 55, 60 minutes. You want a nice golden brown, and more importantly, a toothpick inserted into the center will come out clean. Okay, our lemon blueberry bread is done. As you can see, it's a beautiful golden brown color, and a toothpick inserted in the center does come out clean. So now we're going to make our lemon glaze. So in a small bowl, I have 2 tablespoons, 25 grams of granulated white sugar, and to that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Just stir that together. And then I'm just going to pop this in the microwave, maybe 20, 30 seconds, just until the sugar is melted. Okay, that looks good. I'll just give it a quick stir. And then just take either a toothpick, or I have a little bamboo skewer here, and just pierce the top of your lemon bread. And this way, when we brush the hot lemon glaze, some of it will seep into the bread. This adds such a nice lemon flavor, and it really keeps it nice and moist. Okay, so then with the pastry brush, or if you don't have a pastry brush, you can just use a spoon. I'm just going to brush the top. See all the beautiful berries peeking through the top there. Okay, now just let this cool for at least, say, 20-30 minutes in the pan, and then you can remove it and let it cool the rest of the way. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joyofbaking.com.